Good day and welcome to Alena Media TV. We are broadcasting from Toronto, Canada, and I am Elsa Abraham. Happy New Year to each and every one of our fans. We really appreciate your presence on our YouTube channel. Let's look at today's headlines. Mekelle City interim mayor admits presence and participation of Eritrean forces in Tigray conflict. Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia agreed to hold more talks on the Nile Dam, Egyptian Foreign Ministry says. Will Sudan fill the vacuum left by UNAMID? And in our last story, Sudanese army retake border area with Ethiopia. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll have our news in details. Atakli Haile Selassie, interim mayor of Mekelle City, who was appointed by the Tigray Regional State Interim Administration, admitted the presence and participation of Eritrean forces in the armed conflict in Tigray. In a video televised by Tigray TV, which is currently under the control of the federal government-appointed interim administration in Tigray, Atakli responds to questions from community members participating in a meeting. According to the questions of the presence of Eritrean forces in Tigray was a daily question of the interim administration, and that relevant military leaders have been asked to give explanations. Tigray TV's YouTube channel is no longer uploading Tigray TV programs being televised locally. The video clip was therefore recorded from Tigray TV local broadcast and was released on Facebook. Why did they come in? Atakli asked and goes on to explain the country's largest command, the Northern Command, which was supposed to protect the country, was stable on its back, and they, Eritrean forces, entered because there was no other defense. But it's also announced that they were being withdrawn from the country in a short time. It is a mistake to associate this with the interim administration, he said. The people of Tigray should not be harmed 3 or 4 times in such unplanned and meaningless war, the interim mayor laments. We have had a lot of embarrassment. When will it be enough for Tigray from entering an endless war and death? It is a shame that even 10 years Tigray dies due to war. We don't have a problem right now, so we don't have to ask why they came in now, but how to get them out. We are here to discuss what we can do to stabilize the situation outside our city. Atakli became the first senior government official to admit the presence and participation of Eritrean forces in the armed conflict in Tigray, which is categorically denied by officials both in Addis Ababa and Asmara, despite growing evidences. In a press briefing he held on December 9th, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that he confronted PM Abiy Ahmed with that question, and he guaranteed to me that they have not entered Tigrayan territory. The only area where they are is corresponded to the disputed territory between the two countries that was decided to give back to Eritrea. However, citing U.S. government sources, humanitarian agencies, and satellite images, several leading international media, including the New York Times, Reuters, and Bloomberg, have reported about the presence and involvement of Eritrean forces in the armed conflict in Tigray, which began exactly 2 months ago on November 4th, 2020. The Ethiopian government continued referring to the conflict as law enforcement operation in Tigray and said it was completed on November 28th after its forces captured the city of Mekelle, the capital of Tigray. However, a latest report by Famine Early Warning Systems Network revealed the conflict has been ongoing at relatively lower levels. predominantly in some central and eastern areas. The network, which is a USAID-funded leading provider of analysis on food insecurity, also warns the conflict in the Tigray region resulted in a notable decline in food security among displaced urban and poor rural households, despite the ongoing harvest, they said. Moving on to our second story for today, Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia agreed to hold more talks on the Nile Dam. The Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Irrigation of Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia agreed on Sunday to hold a week-long round of negotiations to discuss the substantive aspects and controversial points over the disputed Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Agreement for the new round of talks came after the ministers from the three countries held a virtual meeting over the filling and operation of the JERD under the patronage of the African Union. The talks will be held in the presence of observers who participated in previous negotiations and experts appointed by the AU Commission. The Egyptian Foreign Ministry said in a statement after the meeting, at the end of this week, another ministerial meeting will be held, chaired by South African, the current chair of the AU, to review the outcomes of the tripartite round of negotiations, according to the statement. During the meeting, Egypt has stressed the need to reach an agreement between the start of the second phase of filling the dam reservoir in a way that achieves the common interest of the three countries. Ethiopia started building the JERD in 2011, while Egypt is concerned that the dam might affect its 55.5 billion cubic meter annual share of Nile water. Sudan has recently been raising similar concerns over the dam over the past few years. The tripartite talks on the rules of filling and operating the JERD have been fruitless, including those hosted by Washington and recently by the AU. And our third story for today, will Sudan fill the vacuum left by the UNAMID? Concerns are raising as Sudan's western region of Darfur of a security vacuum as the African Union and UN hybrid mission in Darfur starts to leave the once war-torn region. The exit comes after the UN Security Council last week anonymously agreed to terminate the mandate of UNAMID and grant powers for civilian protection to Khartoum. UNAMID withdrawal means Sudan will work with a smaller component of the UN, the United Nations Integrated Transition Assistance Mission in Sudan, from this month. On one hand, the decision elevated Sudan's image in the eyes of the international community, coming just days after the US government formally removed Sudan from the list of state sponsors of terrorism, but for Darfur, considered one of the world's most violent regions since 2013, where at least 300,000 people were killed, another 4 million forced into mass camps for the displaced, and assurance has been taken with skepticism. On Sunday, 27th December 2020, hundreds of displaced people living in Kalma camp in South Darfur resumed their sit-in, demanding that UNAMID should not be withdrawn on December 35th. UNAMID was created in 2007 to protect civilians. Sudanese leader Omar al-Bashir, who was toppled in April 2019, was later indicated by the International Criminal Court for overseeing crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide, including numerous unlawful attacks, pillage, rape, forcible transfer, and torture. UNAMID is a political and technical mission more than a military mission to protect civilians, especially in Darfur. UNAMID's main tasks were to protect civilians and maintain security and stability in the Darfur region. Khalid Abdul Aziz, a Sudanese political analyst, told the East African in Khartoum. He said there is little chance to the new mission will perpetuate any weaknesses of UNAMID, as it will mostly work with institutions in Sudan, which it will aim to strengthen. The new mission will support the transitional period in all parts of Sudan by strengthening the human rights situation in Sudan and supporting the peace process and all issues related to civil and democratic transition in Sudan, Mr. Aziz said. UNAMID's withdrawal came after Sudan's transitional government signed the peace deals with some of the groups that had fought in Darfur. In our last story for today, Sudanese army retake border area with Ethiopia. A number of Sudanese took to the street to celebrate after their army took control of an area in Al-Fashaq border region with Ethiopia that was initially occupied by the militia and Ethiopian farmers. Speaking to journalists, the Army Deputy Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Khalid Abdin al-Shami, said their intention was to restore Sudan's sovereignty, which is part of their territory. Sudan is accusing the Ethiopian regime of supporting the militia in taking control of the region. Addis Ababa denied such allegations. Sudanese authorities alleged the Ethiopian militia group had seized vast land from farmers in Al-Fashaq, thus leading to their forceful eviction. Sudan had announced on December 19 that it will dispatch a large number of military reinforcements to the border with Ethiopia to regain its usurped lands from an Ethiopian militia. Ethiopian farmers have for years planted crops in Sudan's Al-Fashaq border area, but the government of former President Omar al-Bashir have tolerated the incursions. Sudanese transitional authorities, who took over after the military's ouster of al-Bashir last year amid months-long protests, have recently engaged in talks with Ethiopia to withdraw Ethiopian farmers behind Sudanese borders. This is where we end today's episode of African News. Please like, share, comment. Let us know your thoughts on this particular episode. Thanks for watching and wish you a happy new year.